think we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you for being, hi Jean, good morning. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It's just an honor to be talking about the solstice. I'm Joanie Parsons, co-creator of RevelEleven, and Monica Smith and I created RevelEleven about 4 years ago as an in-person events company and retreats company. And we pivoted in March to be online, which has just been a joyous experience because it has widened our world. And so it's so nice to have you join us from around the globe today. I'll continue to let people in as we move forward here. So let's go ahead and get started. Hold on one sec. There we go. So the solstice, there has been so much change this year. It's been such a difficult year for so many of us. And it really is a time to sit down and reflect and think forward, because there are some exciting things happening in the new year, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes. But for me, the solstice has always been that time to sit down, grab my journal, light a candle, and reflect back and then look forward. And the reason for that is, for me personally, the solstice and the equinoxes are exactly 90 days apart. And during that time, it just feels like I can set an intention, I can think about goals for 90 days, but you know, when I think about setting a resolution in January for 365 days, it just doesn't work for me. And we all know it doesn't really work for anybody else. So these 90 days increments between the solstice and the equinox are just a fabulous time to think and plan and vision what we want in our lives personally. So we're going to do a little history lesson here and talk about what is the meaning of the solstice. So, the solstice is from Latin, and sol means sun, of course, and sistere means to stand still. And they say that on the solstice, which is actually on Monday, that straight up at noon, that you can look at the sun and it looks like it's standing still. But what that means to me is that for us to stand still, it's this time for us to look inward. Now, I love this quote, and it really embodies how I think about the solstice in this dark time of the year. So winter is the dark womb of the great Mother Earth. The roots and seeds of the plants and trees are asleep under the ground, storing their energy and waiting for rebirth. Winter solstice, therefore, is the peak of the power of darkness and an opportunity for resting, dreaming, and conceiving new life. Isn't that beautiful? So that's Robin Rose Bennett. And that just truly exemplifies how I think of this time about the earth being asleep and what's going to blossom. So this is truly winter's midpoint, and we are invited to pause as nature does. And as I mentioned, it's a time to slow down and reflect and think about what is blossoming inside of you and what is ready to blossom when the snow melts. So these are powerful energies. And as you know, on Monday, it will be the shortest amount of light that we have and the darkest, longest evening. So again, these powerful energies are for renewal, regeneration, and self-reflection. Have I said that enough? Just to get you all geared up for that diary writing we're going to be doing? Hold on. So let's look at, so ancient cultures have celebrated the solstice from the beginning of time. Some say that it dated back more than 12,000 years, and I've also read 30,000 years. So Stonehenge was built more than 5,000 years ago by the Neolithic people. And 2 times a year, the sun actually shines directly through this huge monolith. So just think back in ancient cultures, what they knew and that we're still getting used to and understanding the magic of what the solstice has become. So the ancient Scandinavians and the Germans They are responsible for many of the things that we celebrate today around Christmas, the mistletoe, and even Santa Claus. They celebrated the Yule for 12 days during winter. And this is actually my fire pit in the backyard. And we've spent a lot of time around the fire pit this year and during this Yule celebration. And then the Vikings, they actually celebrated by decorating trees with decorations during this time as well. Now, several years ago, I went to Tulum and we visited Chichen Itza. And this is one of the most famous ancient ruins in Mexico. And during the solstice, it looks like as the day progresses, the sun actually moves up the stairs of this ancient, beautiful temple. And so just imagine that if you're there during the winter or summer solstice to watch the sun climb during the day. It's a beautiful experience that I hope to enjoy one day. And finally, Monica Smith and I, our co-creator of RevelEleven, we hiked the Inca Trail. I'm gonna let somebody in here. Into Machu Picchu about 8 years ago. And as you walk on that ancient path that you know that ancient civilizations and people have walked on, and then you get to the Sun Gate and it all of a sudden opens up into this beautiful village of Machu Picchu. You just can't imagine, like in your mind's eye, like what they were thinking at the time. And they also had a solstice celebration. So in the Temple of the Sun, there's one window where you can actually look through and it illuminates the sacred rocks below. It's an amazing experience. And when I was there, I kept thinking to myself after walking through the Sun Gate and seeing the Temple of the Sun, why would we hold ourselves back in this lifetime? Like, what is it that would hold us back when we know ancient peoples have gone before us? We know what's going to happen in our life. So why not fully embrace it and step into life and purpose and what we're here to do? So with all of that being said, and the celebration of the solstice on Monday, there's something else going on, and that is what our astrologist at a university said: the worlds align this winter and it's a gift for the world. So if you look up into the night sky now and through the rest of this month, and particularly on the solstice on Monday, you'll see Jupiter and Saturn. And it is the closest that they've been to one another in more than 800 years, which is medieval times. And so when you look up into the night sky and see this, what it will look like is that it's a superstar. So one star that's illuminated by these two planets together. Isn't that amazing? I mean, 800 years this hasn't happened. So there's many star apps that you can get. So if you need a star app to help you find it, or if you just know it, but look up into the night sky, because tonight and through the rest of the year, you'll see this happening. But it is truly the closest on Monday during the solstice. The other exciting thing that's happening right now at this time is that we're entering, this is what's called the Grand Conjunction. And we're going from a time of Pisces, which is kind of an ego-based planet and masculine, into the age of Aquarius, which the age of Aquarius is the age of the divine feminine, which is why we're here today. All these women from around the globe coming together and sparkling their light throughout the universe. So what does this mean? So the age of Aquarius means resilience, like we're coming into a new age now. And this is turning from kind of, like I said, that masculine energy over into this feminine essence. So, excuse me, resilience, liberation, replacing those toxic systems for unifying. Innovations in science, which we're already seeing, and it's something that I read, it's like we're already seeing these things that we never could have imagined, and we're going to see more of those as these innovations continue and our years in the age of Aquarius continue. And we're moving away from rigid thought and finding our unique selves. So I wanted to share that because this has been such a dark year, 2020, and I know that it profoundly impacted so many of us and in very different ways. But I hope that this gives you a glimmer of hope of what's to come. And you know, while it's not going to happen all at once, it's going to be an evolution into this age of Aquarius. It is starting on Monday. Okay, so with that, there's our little lesson for this morning, and we're going to get into some journaling. And I asked you to, if you have a candle, to have it nearby and light it. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a few moments to get grounded. So either look at your candle, close your eyes, and please put your feet on the ground. And I'm going to take you through a little ritual here. Take a nice deep breath in and notice without any judgment if the breath goes in and out of your body with ease or if there's a holding. Just notice, and now take another deep breath. Again, just notice what you feel in your body. Now place your attention on your heart and gently place your hands over your heart and just notice what you feel. Notice if there's any anxiety, stress, sadness, anger, or any kind of tension, and just notice without judgment. Now, let's take a journey into the beautiful Mother Earth. Breathing down now into your stomach, your pelvic bowl, your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and into your feet, and then root them into Mother Earth. As you go further and further down into Mother Earth, you will notice its beautiful crystalline nature. And then go further down. You'll notice the fire within the earth. Now, notice the firekeeper tending the fire. Here, we can bring all and any tension, stress, sadness, grief, heartache that you may have noticed in your heart. And now, just give that to the fire. Throw it into the fire. Give it into the fire, knowing that Mother Earth can now alchemize these energies for you into a beautiful, warm, loving energy that you can use for your healing at this time. Watch as your stress, tension, and any heartache that you might feel is alchemized by this fire. Now, breathing in the beautiful warm energy, let's bring you back up through the earth, up through your feet, your ankles, your calves, knees, your thighs, into your pelvic bowl, up through your stomach, and back to your heart. And now, breathing in Just allow yourself to sit more easily in your heart and notice. Breathing in and out again, just allow yourself to fill the chair that you are sitting in. Slowly begin to feel and wiggle your fingers. And when you are ready, slowly come back to the room and open your eyes. How was that for you? Please share in the chat. So someone said great, very soothing, grounding, centering, peaceful, comforting, feel very relaxed. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that with me. Okay, so as we move forward into journaling, I want you to think about this quote as you think about yourself and your life moving forward. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. And of course, that's from Rumi. We love Rumi. So, okay. So with your journals ready, let's reflect on 2020. First, what would you like to leave behind? You can write that in your journal or you can share that in the chat. Disappointment of the year not turning out like I wanted it to be. So true. Anger, it's a big feeling. Judgment. Okay, I'll give you another minute. Anxiety about our country. The belief of lack, limitation, and struggle, and being hard on myself. Thank you for sharing. I want to leave behind my dependence on plastic and non-recyclable materials. It's very nice for the planet. Lots of chaos this year. Okay, so let's, in contrast, what are you most grateful for 2020? You have 2 minutes just to write in your journal. And if you would like to share in the chat. The question is, what are you most grateful for 2020? And you have another minute. Slowing down a busy life, enjoying the little things more. I'm most grateful for the opportunity to look inward, getting to know myself and prove that I can do hard things. Hope for the future. That's beautiful. Time with family and thankful for my health and safety. It really is the little things that are big things. Okay. So why don't you finish that up and then we'll go to the next question. So knowing that this was a difficult year, there's been a lot of grace in it as well for a lot of people. And it's a fine balance between those two things. But I do think that this was an opportunity to see life in a new way. What did you experience? You have 2 minutes. The question is, this was a year of opportunity to see life in a new way, knowing that it was difficult and hard, but there are moments of grace in this year as well. What did you experience? You have 1 more minute. So some people are saying shedding of distractions, more time to focus on what really matters. I've totally found that to be true. A release of old emotional wounds and a greater sense of ownership as the creator of my own reality. Generosity to others. Tapping into self-motivation energy. I've certainly found that. Okay. Okay, so now let's look ahead. I'm not going to spend too much time on 2020 so we can move forward into 2021. And I will be sending these questions out after our Zoom this morning with some additional questions for you to consider. What is one word, thinking about 2021, that you would like to be a common theme for you in the new year? Go ahead and spend some time on that, 2 minutes, and then share in the chat if you'd like. What is one word that you would like to be a common theme for you in the new year? Hope, boldness, joy, illumination. Love that word. Honesty. Movement. It's always good to move. Passion. To fly. Connectedness. Oh, these are just beautiful. Wisdom. Okay, I think we'll continue. So our view of success may be different now than it was in the past, similar to what we were just talking about for 2020. So what would you like for 2021 to encompass for you? And again, we'd like to really focus on personally, because If you write these down about what you want personally, then that will influence everything you do moving forward, whether it's business or something else. Our view of success may be different now than it was in the past. What would you like for 2021 to encompass for you? You have about 30 more seconds. Trusting my intuition and the universe, leading with my heart. I want to be more intentional with my day-to-day actions. Health. Successful transitions. Moving, retiring, downsizing, blooming with newfound free time. I love that. Peace and more balance in my life. More harmony and grace in being and doing. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Okay, the next question. How will you nurture your mind, body, and spirit? How will you nurture your mind, body, and spirit? Radiate joy, hope, and grace. That's so well said. Cook and bake as much as possible. Woohoo! I wish you were close by, Shannon. Books, music, exercise, and yoga. Yoga is something I've definitely incorporated daily, almost during this pandemic. It's been a nice addition to my life. Okay, and our final question for today. Write about how you want to feel through the new year. So that's taking yourself out of like what you want and what you desire, but how is it that you want to feel? Do you want to feel peaceful? Do you want to feel at ease? How do you want to feel? Do you want to have joy in your life? So let's take a full 2 minutes to write about that. We're going to go a little bit over 9:30, but I think that will be okay with everyone. Write about how you want to feel. And how will you make choices about how you want to feel in your life and make choices from that position? Hopeful. Vibrant. Fulfilled. So making a choice of desiring to be vibrant, you can make choices from that idea, and that such a huge opportunity to be able to say yes or no to something that comes your way, and to feel that from a place of vibrancy. Fulfilled. I want to speak confidently and live merrily all year. Calm, centered, focused, optimistic. inner peace and joy. Every day is an adventure. Embrace the transitions ahead. Joyful, comfortable, beautiful, and loving. Wow, I want to live in all of those ways and make decisions and choices for my life moving forward from that arena. Okay, so that concludes our journal writing for today. But as I mentioned, I'll be sending something out right after this. There's some other questions that you'll be able to consider and write in your journal. And I would love for you to share with me, you all have my email, how this experience was for you. But an ending thought for today. When you feel you are being moved by the creative spirit, you are in fact being moved by the divine feminine. I'm just going to read that one more time. When you feel you are being moved by the creative spirit, you are in fact being moved by the divine feminine. And to me, journal writing has always been a part of the divine feminine for me, and really getting close to my inner heart and my inner desires, because that makes my life better. And, I was talking to my partner this morning, and, I've been journaling since I was very young, and it has really helped me not only feel more grounded about my life, but to be able to set intentions. And something that's very powerful about handwriting in your journal, it's much more powerful to me, and I have read many people who have said this before, but if you write it down and you can actually see it physically and you have handwritten it, things seem to materialize faster. And I love that idea that we can create our future by writing things down and manifesting them. And sometimes you'll write something down and then you'll look back and it's like, oh my gosh, those are all of the things that I'm living right now. And that to me is beauty and pure joy. So thank you so much for joining me today. I did want to tell you that I'm thinking about putting a new program together for spring. So it would be something like what we did today, but over a 90-day period. And if you're interested, please let me know. I'm carving out what this would look like, but it would include every other week check-ins, weekly inspirations, pop-up speakers, and it would be, of course, limited to just 11 people. So please let me know if you'd like to know more about the program as I continue to develop it. But more than anything, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to do this on such a momentous time in the universe on the winter solstice on Monday. So thank you. Have a wonderful Saturday.
Thank you, Joanie. It was beautiful.
Thank you, everyone. It was just such a joy to put together.
Thank you, Joanie. That was really great. Really great.
Oh, thanks, you guys. So nice to see familiar faces, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Joanie.
Thanks for coming, Jamie. Nice to see you. I'll respond to your email soon. I've been thinking about it. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Joanie.
Bye, Cynthia. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming today.